I had the first conversation with the manager, he was like, "Yeah, look, it's not gonna happen. I'll come watch the movie, but I just don't see this happening." And I was like, "Look, like he did Rocket, and like it was a day, and like it put him like square in the center of popular culture out of nowhere, and like how cool was that? And like it'd be cool to do it again." And then he saw the film, the manager did, and he said, "I'm showing this to Bradley," and then Bradley called John immediately, and it was awesome. Like it came together really quickly once the film, because the film was good. Like it was like, oh, I could be in this movie.
Hi, John, Jonathan, and Jeremy. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Doing great. This is like the triple J threat going on over here. I really dig it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tongue twister when you said that too. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I felt like I was going to mess it up, but I'm glad I didn't. Thank you again so much for sharing your time with us today on the movie podcast. We absolutely adore you guys. Like, this is a game night is one of our favorite comedies, and we probably watch it, I would say, if not once a week, at least once every 2 weeks we watch it.
I think that's it.
That's amazing.
That's it.
Well, then here's the prop for you.
Thank you.
Wasn't
that the third Harry Potter book?
Yeah.
And Jeremy, you've obviously, by your background, you've produced some of our favorite, Marvel films of all time. So we're just so lucky to be in the presence of all three of you guys today.
Thank you.
We're happy to be here, man. And whenever we were in trouble on set, our executive producer we would hear 3 J's right now.
Oh man,
something that was upsetting to the budget or schedule of the film.
We won't call you guys the 3 J's.
No, we won't call you the 3 J's.
It gives us flashbacks.
Yeah, we also just want to confirm this interview is not going to end after we ask you 5 questions. That's okay. We're good.
Sure.
Awesome.
Smart.
Okay. We got to ask, Dungeons and Dragons was such a huge surprise this year. What was it about Honor Among Thieves that made it the right project for all of you? Following what you've done before, why was this the right step next?
Well, it's quite ambitious, and we knew that we wanted to make, if we were going to make a big budget tentpole movie, we wanted it to be different from the ones that you've seen lately. And so this felt like a perfect way into our strange and subversive sensibility. D&D is inherently works against the fold and is such a unique portrayal of the fantasy space that it just felt like such a great fit for us to be able to really mine the comedy from the genre without it feeling like we are doing a disservice or betraying what the core of D&D fundamentally is.
And we also felt as if there hasn't been a fantasy film with any kind of sense of humor in a very long time. That's not to say that we wanted to spoof the genre, but we did want to make it more relatable to modern audiences in the way that Princess Bride did. And, in some ways the way Monty Python did, not quite that broad, but it felt like a rare opportunity to bring our sensibility to it.
And for me, a lot of it was these two gentlemen. I had worked with them on Spider-Man Homecoming. I had read a script of theirs called Bus Driver, which is one of the best unproduced screenplays in Hollywood. It's so funny. It's a wonderful, wonderful script. And we'd worked together on the first part of Spider-Man Homecoming together. And those guys wrote the draft that like established the entire tone and vibe and feel and mood of those movies. And I had just such a great experience with them. So we've been trying to find something to do together. And they were thinking about directing this and called me and said, "Hey, we've written a first draft of this thing. We think it might be something." And honestly, a lot of it for me was an opportunity to work with the guys. And I knew that together we could make something like awesome. And it was just like a joy to come on with them and to go make this movie because I knew we could make it great. And I'm so proud of what we did because I think we did. I think we like made something really, really cool that I'm so deeply proud of. And it was, like the chance just to work with these guys again and take it to the next level of their storytelling. And for me as an independent producer, like out on my own to make something so massive that I shouldn't be allowed to go do this. And
definitely,
it was a pleasure. It was really a pleasure.
That's amazing. And this movie it's not only just super fun, but visually it's so good to look at because you've got this blend of visual effects and practical effects that are throughout the film. So I have to know, why was that important to all of you guys and the vision of the movie?
Well, it was really important to us to sort of set ourselves apart from the look of of films that we've seen as of late, and really embrace that fusion of visual effects and practical effects, which harkens back to the adventures that we loved as kids growing up. Jurassic Park, Never-Ending Story. They really did such an incredible job of seamlessly integrating practical with cutting edge digital technology. And so that was important to us. And it was also important to us to portray fantasy in this colorful and aspirational landscape, which I feel like it has been sort of portrayed bleakly lately. And so it was really just an opportunity to make a film that families would enjoy, kids and adults would be able to remember the films that they grew up loving and watching.
Has anyone kept the Jonathan costume for themselves? Like, is anyone wearing it at home?
It's wildly expensive, so no. And it's Jonathan.
Jonathan. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
The practical thing, honestly, like it had worked out really well on Iron Man 1. And it felt like the right way to start a universe, like to really make it grounded and to really make it tangible. And so when the guys started talking to me about wanting to do some practical, like calling Shane Mahan at Legacy, who had built the original Iron Man armor, like was the only move, like I knew that those guys were capable of the kind of innovation and the kind of like step forward in practical effects that would bring it to life. And they were incredible partners. And like the guys just had John and Jonathan had endless imagination, and those guys had an endless ability and skill to bring it to life. And it was just a great collaboration. Like watching the corpses, watching Jonathan, watching Neurixius, watching the Tabaxi, like it was all real. Like it was all freaking real, and it makes it for such a better experience of film.
And there's a moment in the movie where we get a lovely cameo by the one and only Bradley Cooper. I have to know what was all that behind that, because that was fantastic. Just seeing him on screen was just making everyone cheer and clap in the theater.
It was definitely a moment, for sure. It was definitely a moment.
But we always knew that we wanted a very recognizable face in that role, so that when Holga opens the door and we see a 3-foot version of that star, that much more surprising and fun for the audience. And because that scene is not quite played for comedy, other than the fact that he's 3 feet tall. Once you get past that, it's a very emotional, tender scene, and in a way that makes it all the more funny. And so, John had worked with Bradley on a TV show years ago, and we reached out to him. We showed him the movie. He really loved it and said he was in. And so he came out. We shot it separately from the main footage of the movie, and our incredible VFX people made it all blend together seamlessly.
It was the craziest 6 hours of the film. it really, top to bottom, from the time he showed up to the time he left, I think it was 6 hours total. And
wow.
And it was incredible. And it was funny because when I had the first conversation with the manager, he was like, yeah, look, it's not gonna happen. I'll come watch the movie, but I just don't see this happening. And I was like, look, like he did Rocket, and like it was a day, and like it put him like square in the center of popular culture out of nowhere, and like how cool was that? And like it'd be cool to do it again. And then he saw the film, the manager did, and he said, I'm showing this to Bradley. And then Bradley called John immediately. And it was awesome. Like it came together really quickly once the film, because the film was good. Like it was like, oh, I could be in this movie?
Yeah, a lot
of
people don't expect this film to be good. that is the sort of preconception that we were always kind of battling and trying to convince people of still. And so, there is something very satisfying and gratifying in having a film like that, where going into it, you really don't know what to expect, and you're probably expecting something that's bad.
Well, we definitely want to say that, when it comes to you guys, you continue to defy expectations. And we felt that with Game Night, and we definitely felt that with Dungeons and Dragons, because while maybe sometimes marketing might not hit it, when the movie comes out, you guys absolutely crush it. Like, again, Game Night is so inventive. Dungeons and Dragons really does take that fantasy genre and then give it that comedy that's been sorely needing. So people need to stop doubting you guys. That's all I can say.
I agree with you on that, man.
Thank you.
They're freaking great. They are the real deal. I tell everybody I meet, like, they are the real deal from top to bottom when it comes to a writer-director working in Hollywood today. They really are.
No.
They're full of inventive ideas, and they're funny as hell, and they actually can do emotion. and they have inventive action ideas.
And very nice guys, as it turns out.
And they're very nice. They're handsome, and they smell very good.
Oh, they're just hitting everything you need.
Yeah, they're handsome, funny. Yeah, okay, good.
I know you guys battle a lot, like with people's kind of preconceived notions with this film. Where do you see this going? I know like there's so much opportunity to tell more stories with these characters. Are you guys looking to a future of like returning to this world and telling more stories with them?
I would say that's a strong maybe. I don't think we can say with any certainty what we'll do next in terms of the D&D landscape, but we definitely see a potential in this world broadening and finding new stories to explore. That said, we also enjoy telling completely different stories. So we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I certainly think as people come to see it on video and like the audience for it continues to expand, I think that we're going to find people wanting more. Like my favorite tweet so far has been a person who said, "This movie has my highest honor, the movie I put on in the house when I'm doing laundry." And I think that like speaks to like the fact that like people like want to hang out with the film. Like people see it and they just want to hang out with it and be friends with it and live with it. And that to me is like strangely is the highest honor for a movie. Like what are you putting on when you're at home on a Saturday by yourself doing stuff around the house? Like what movie do you want in the background? And like the fact that it's this for people is like it's cool. So I do think there's hopefully a lot more to do here as it goes. I think it's the guys just create such a great world that it'd be a shame not to explore it more.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an honor in comfort movie genre. So you guys are clearly nailing it there. We just want to wrap up and say thank you so much for taking your time with us today. Before we do though, real quickly, who was the best D&D player out of everybody that you've played with so far in the movie?
Among the cast?
Yeah, I would say
I gotta say Simon.
Oh, Justice, yeah.
Justice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Justice and his exceptional use of animal friendship.
Regé, I think he might very well be the nerdiest of the bunch. And so really fell into the role-playing game mechanics immediately. So I think he would be a technically proficient player for sure.
and Michelle Rodriguez, no great surprise, just wanted to kill anything that came in her path.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. A lot of killing.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much again. We can't wait for people to see this movie at home now while they're doing their laundry, while they're doing their taxes, whatever it is. I can't wait to see it and can't wait to see what you guys do next as well.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Guys.
Take care.
Bye, guys.